Hello everyone, with you, the History of Pi channel. Today we're going to talk about Liverpool. In 1170th year, a settlement called Liverpool was first mentioned, which means a muddy pond. In 1207th year, King John the Landless issued a charter, according to which Liverpool receives the status of a city, that is, a city surrounded by walls, and having the status of self-government. In the middle of the 16th century, Liverpool remained an insignificant settlement with 500 inhabitants. Liverpool's importance as a port on the west coast began to grow in the 18th century with the growth of the slave trade and the economic development of the American colonies. In 1715th year, the first open and port dead in England was built here. Throughout the 19th century, Liverpool, like Manchester, served as the flagship of the Industrial Revolution. By the beginning of the 19th century, about 40% of the world's trade traffic passed through Liverpool. Now let's move on to the main character of our story, Joseph Williams. At the age of 11, this smart guy left his family and went to Liverpool and got a job at Richard Tate's tobacco company. Joseph made good progress in the business of this company. He also opened his own company. In 1787th year, the owner of the tobacco company, Richard Tate, died, and the management of the business passed to his son Thomas Tate. Joseph Williamson married the sister of the owner of the firm in 1802, and in 1803, he completely bought out the tobacco company. In this way, Joseph became a very rich man in Liverpool. In 1805, Joseph bought a piece of land known as the Long Broom Field. Here, he built several houses without any plans, and which were of the strangest description as contemporaries write. In general, everything was fine. The man got rich, built big houses for life, but after some time, the land behind his houses abruptly sank down by 6 meters, and at that time, it was very fashionable to have large gardens and vegetable gardens, and in order not to look like a black sheep, Joseph Williamson built brick arches on the sagging plots and blocked them with brick arches. In this way he raised the ground level. From above, brick arches were covered with earth, and a vegetable garden was broken. 1816th year has come. The Napoleonic Wars have ended. There were a lot of ex-servicemen in Liverpool, and they were all out of work. To help them, according to Wikipedia, Joseph began to hire former military personnel for work, and began to give them various useless tasks, such as moving soil from one place to another. He also used people to build an underground labyrinth, consisting of underground halls and arched tunnels. The tunnels were built at a depth of 3 to 15 meters and stretched for several miles. Joseph didn't really need these tunnels, he created them to give work to people. In 1840, Joseph died, and the tunnels were abandoned. Here you read Wikipedia, and the soul rejoices for England. What wonderful people lived there. Real philanthropists. Here's Joseph. What a kind man. I saw that war veterans had no work, and came up with classes for them to move the earth from place to place and dig underground tunnels. The tunnels are located in the area east of Liverpool Cathedral. The rectangles are bounded by Mason Street, Greenfield Street, and Smithdown and Paddington. Their full size is unknown. Many of them are blocked by debris and rubble. They differ in size from the banquet hall, which is 21 meters long, 8 meters wide, and 6 meters high. There are also smaller tunnels. Let's continue the history of the Liverpool tunnels. In 1830, the railway opened between Liverpool and Manchester. It was a unique structure for its time. The trains were pulled by steam locomotives. The length of the road was 56 kilometers. The road began with a 2-kilometer tunnel laid under Liverpool. Through the tunnel is named Ild Hill. The wagons were pulled by a tow rope using a stationary engine installed by Weld Hill. Since for locomotives the tunnel had a very steep slope. After Alge Hill, the cars to Manchester were pulled by locomotive. In general, in the period from 1829 to 1848, 4 tunnels were built. This tunnel is Crowd Street, 1829th year, a single-channel tunnel with a length of 266 meters. This is the oldest tunnel in the world, laid under the streets of the city. The Pinsky Tunnel, 1829th year, 2-kilometer double-track tunnel, the first railway tunnel in the world, laid under the city. Lime Street Tunnel, a 2-track tunnel with a length of 1 and 8 kilometers, was laid under the city streets. The Waterloo Tunnel was built in 1848th year. In case of flooding of the tunnel, a drainage system was built, equipped with powerful pumps, and capable of holding 300 tons of water in special settling tanks. Red brick ventilation towers can still be seen along the entire length of the Liverpool tunnels. 2 of them were dismantled, but the remaining few towers still serve as a pointer to the location of the tunnel. As we can see, there is a large network of tunnels with brick vaults under Liverpool. Historians do not even hide their existence. There are even guided tours on them. Historians explain the origin of the tunnels by the vagaries of a millionaire, like he wanted to help unemployed war veterans, and invented classes for them to dig useless huge tunnels, brick them, and all this for the benefit of people. Another part of the tunnels was attributed to the builders of the railway, but it seems to me that Liverpool is some kind of ancient center of antediluvian civilization, and it was not for nothing that at the beginning of the 19th century, it was the industrial center of England. It seems to me that it was from Liverpool that technology spread throughout England. It is in Liverpool that the technologies that were lost elsewhere have been preserved. And the tunnels of Liverpool are antediluvian structures that served for the survival of people during global disasters. These tunnels are similar to underground subway stations. People lived underground and traveled through these tunnels on some unknown trains. In the 40s of the 19th century, some of these tunnels were adapted for a modern railway. Look at the hoods above the tunnels. You can see similar ones above the metro in Moscow and St. Petersburg. That's it. Watch my channel.